So it seems as if the ATF is basically using UPS and FedEx to circumvent the federal law and create a federal database of gun ownership in the United States. Montana AG concerned that FedEx UPS may be tracking gun ownership for the White House, according to Fox News. FedEx and UPS have changed shipping policies on firearms in a way that easily allows supervision and cataloging of sellers and buyers, Montana AG says. Specifically, federal firearms licensees. Now, these are the only people actually can send a weapon in the mail. Your average person can't do this. So this only applies to federal firearms licensees. Now are required to create 3 different accounts at FedEx or UPS or both. And one account is for shipping firearms only. The other account is for shipping firearm parts. And the other one is for shipping firearm accessories, like, for instance, targets or eyewear or air protection. There's a lot of accessories. So if you're shipping things, you have to ship them separately based upon the item and the corresponding type of account. Therefore, you can track who shipped what where because these shippers are also supposed to keep a database of who the item is intended for. So let's go to the Washington Free Beacon, who broke the story. Montana AG concerned UPS and FedEx working with Biden administration. Here's the money quote down here. We'll scroll down to it. There you go. Knudsen. How do you pronounce that? He's the AG in Montana. However you pronounce it, good job, Montana AG. He is concerned that UPS and FedEx may be coordinating with the Biden administration to circumvent a ban on the creation of a federal gun owner database. You see, right now, the federal government is prohibited from creating a gun owner database. Sources spoke with the Montana AG's office, said that the Biden Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the ATF, run by Biden, told companies that they have to do this. The ATF is already facing scrutiny at the state level and on Capitol Hill for storing nearly 1 billion records detailing Americans' firearm purchases. The Free Beacon first reported in January. The alleged rule change by FedEx and UPS could be part of an effort by the government to track American firearm owners amid a nationwide uptick in gun crimes. Part of the peculiarity of this story is that UPS and FedEx just magically came up with the exact same policies at about the exact same time, which seems to be that it's actually at the request of the ATF, which is what the Montana AG is saying. This harkens back to a video we made yesterday of how big tech, or in this case, big shipping, coordinates with the federal government to basically spy on Americans. So yesterday we did a video about how Google collaborated, let's say that way, with the federal government to track people's movements on January 6th. And now big shipping, FedEx, UPS, is going to collaborate with the federal government on the shipping of a legal, constitutionally protected item. Why would they want to do that? Well, obviously, Jack, in order to cut down on gun crime, because all your legal gun purchases automatically result in illegal gun usage, right? They result in crime. Actually, no. Right? A lot of your illicit use of firearm occurs because someone illegally acquired the firearm. They bought it on the street corner. So why ask the FedEx and UPS to do this? Well, the AG in Montana has a hunch. Let's roll down here. Here we go. In addition to creating the 3 distinct shipping groups, which we mentioned to you already, FedEx now apparently demands that gun store owners retain documents about what specific items those shipments contain and make that information available to FedEx upon request. In other words, what the AG is saying here is basically they're just teeing up all this information so when the federal government issues a search warrant, it's readily available. Basically what he's saying here. These demands in tandem allow FedEx to create a database of American gun purchasers and determine exactly what items they purchased, which would be, at the very least, against the spirit of the federal ban on this federal database. Perhaps most concerning, your policies allegedly allow FedEx to comply with requests from applicable law enforcement or government authorities, even when those requests are inconsistent or contrary to applicable law, rule, regulation, or order. In doing so, you perhaps inadvertently, I think he's trying to be nice about this, give federal agencies a workaround to federal law, which has long prevented federal agencies from using gun sales to create gun registries. That's against the law. But under these policies, FedEx and UPS, for that matter, can provide information at will or upon requests from federal agencies detailing this information about which Americans are buying which gun. So if this sounds familiar to you, it's very much like the government outsourcing their desires and or outsourcing their censorship, right? The federal government doesn't want you to say certain things about the vaccine. Well, the federal government's not going to censor you. They'll have Google or YouTube do it for you. Oh, that sounds familiar. Or Twitter do it for you. Well, they used to be able to, now Musk took over, right? So this just seems like the same thing. They're just in a different arena. We're having big tech, big corporate, big shipping do the federal government's dirty work for them. But when a company basically acts on behest of the government to curtail your Second Amendment rights or your right to privacy, or if you have one of those in the Constitution, then basically it's not the private corporation that's doing it, it's the government themselves. But I'm no lawyer, thank God. But I know the Attorney General of Montana, I'm pretty sure he's a lawyer. By the way, here in Massachusetts, I just signed up with my nephew and his girlfriend. We're going to I think it's a 4-hour gun safety course that you have to take before you can actually apply for a license to carry in Massachusetts. And so we'll keep you up to date on how that process goes. We're going to do it the legal way. I'm the type of guy that would have signed up for the gun safety course, whether it was required or not. That's just what I would do. It makes sense. After they take that course, which is like in 2 weeks or something, you then have to wait like 3 months in Massachusetts before they do the background check. And then I think there's a one-on-one interview with somebody at the police department before they make the final decision of whether or not you're going to be allowed to have a license to carry. That's the process here in Massachusetts. Fortunately, like, I've never gotten anything more than a parking ticket or a speeding ticket. In fact, I don't think I've had a speeding ticket in like over 20 years. So I'm not really worried. I'm pretty sure they're going to grant me the license. But that's the process in Massachusetts. I will keep you posted on that on further editions of this channel. I'm John F. Gately from Plymouth, America's hometown. You can call me Jack in Massachusetts. Beyond enemy lines, you have a great day. Bye-bye.